everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to the 2006 Deftones album, Saturday Night Wrist, which has an album cover. Apparently this album was released where there was a lot of inner turmoil between the Deftones members, so I'm interested to see what kind of sound palette they go for and what decisions they make here. Also interestingly, it has a Serj Tankian feature, which is not something I expected. But I'm excited for it because I very much enjoyed the album Toxicity and a few singles that I've heard from System of a Down, so that's going to be an interesting kind of sound palette here. Before we start, I also just wanted to say, if you have any suggestions for albums that are not alternative metal or shoegaze, I'd love to hear them because I don't want to just be like the girl who does alternative shoegaze album reactions. So if you have any other suggestions, they can be added to the next poll on what to vote on to react to next. Thanks. There's also a pretty infamous track on this album that I've heard about, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Anyway, before we start the video, I released an album this year, and here's a little snippet of it now. And we're back. Did you like that? If you did, have a listen. It's in the description, as well as a bunch of other links. Anyway, let's get into the project. First song, Hole in the Earth. Starting off with some feedback. Ooh, some strange sounds. Ooh. We're going in between kind of this more like offbeat swung feel between more rhythmically like on the floor, four on the floor kind of rhythms. And that's really interesting. Like some metric modulation. There's Chino. Ooh, it's a high bass note. Ooh, that tone. You can hear his voice cracking more so than in other albums of them. Ooh, I like that note. Building up into the chorus. Arpeggios. Chino's mixed very close in this song. Stop-start atmosphere, kind of the yells from like the self-titled era. Whoa! Looks like a bubbling in his voice then. Ooh, that little ornamentation there. There's a synth coming in, or is that like a harmonic that's like being pitched around? Of course, into the shoegaze choruses. Lots of major notes. Chino's kind of defaulting to like a major sound, which is interesting. It's interesting how they kind of like crackle his voice. I don't know if that's an effect or it's like actually his voice, but it's just either way, it's a really cool kind of sound design effect. Little taps coming in. Back into the arpeggios. So notice the top note of the arpeggio is going up and down, which I think is a really interesting way to kind of add some interest into the chords being used. They're not burying his voice at all, which is interesting, because in a lot of times Bev Chino's voice is kind of like a background element, but they're really putting it in the forefront, the mixing engineer, or whoever. Back into this section with some, you hear those kind of atmospheric sounds. A scream. Drums rephrasing this same phrase. Oh, changing the rhythms at least. Heavily chorus guitars and the feedback. If you see me looking to this side, it's because I'm looking at the lyric page. And as the song is coming to a close, this is usually when I do sort of a lyric breakdown. I try and figure out what the song's about, make an interpretation. So I guess it's time to have a look. But first of all, That's a great opener. It's such a great, it's a really good like tone setter, and it really allowed you to get into the feel of the album so far, which I'm enjoying. Yeah, I'm still not getting at what the metaphor of the hole in the earth means. I guess it could be just be talking about like a grand statement, I guess like some sort of monument that takes away rather than like builds up. I'm not fully getting that, but maybe that'll come clear to me after listening to the next song, which is Rapture. All right, let's go. Whoa. That really just kicks you out in. Wow. This is kind of like returning to like the sound of the earlier records. That's a strange switch up. There's so many textural elements here. I'm not sure how I feel about the kind of eclectic bridges between different sections. I mean, I think they work, but I guess I need to get used to them. The ooze in the background really adds to the atmosphere there. Is that like a piano playing dissonant notes in the background? Never mind the like animosity of Chino's voice there. I think that is a piano, or at least a sample of a piano. I love those oohs. This section's really cool. Kind of has like an alt rock kind of vibe to it, but with something more evil underneath. Whoa. There's so much aggression in his voice. Ooh. That synth almost sounds like a human voice. I feel like I'm getting the eclecticism here, which is kind of like, from the lyrics as well, it seems to be talking about struggling to find common ground in the recording process, which is interesting how they made that into a song. It seems to have a very simple meaning, but with just a bunch of complex, like, ways of explaining it, which I think is pretty cool. Ooh, interesting that we end up on like an ambient note from the fade out from the synth. Seems like another one coming in with like a higher pitched partial. I can't tell if that's just like an accentuated frequency or if that's like a high pitched tone. I think that song does what it needs to do. I mean, it's not my favorite so far, but I think it did a good job of what it was trying to do, which was kind of building that sense of uncertainty and explaining the concept of their troubles recording through the song, which I think is a cool concept. I think it could be executed a little bit better because otherwise I just felt like it was jumping all over the place. But I guess that kind of adds to the feeling. But how much is that compromising listening experience for the listener? It did a little bit for me, but I still really enjoyed the song because of the concept. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Next song, Beware. That was kind of like a found sound sample. Wow! So I think that's a big crush on the guitar, how it felt like it was kind of just like struggling to even get the note out. Piano again. At least I think it's piano in the previous song, but... Ooh. It's kind of like a patience to this kind of song. Especially with that little twang of the guitar in the right ear. Now the left ear. It feels kind of like James Bondy. Ooh. Oh, this is my favorite so far. Ooh. Ooh. Kind of speechless here. Strange harmonies. It's like whispering into things and like these overlapping vocal lines. Wow. It's more like a dream poppy shoegaze section. And the energy just dies. I love the little slap back on his voice there. Little delay. He goes, no, no, like that. Ooh. Do you like a little percussion in the left? Sorry about that. I ran out of storage on my camera, so let's get back into Beware. Classical Deftones floaty experience. Oh, that high note. Ooh. Dissonant notes there. Oh? I expected a build-up. We're really coming down here. Building. Voice is so feedback coming in. That was a perfect way to transition back into the chorus. Sweeping up to the high note. Chino's given some very emotive performances as usual. Interweaving vocals. Oh wow. Dissonance again. This time with vocals here. That was a very strange sound from Chino then. But then again, it is very desperate feeling. Feedback right here. Left ear now. Back into a heavy section. Wow. Wow, that dissonant. I think it's a piano but just distorted. They're using like other instruments a lot in this. Oh no, it's definitely a guitar. There's a lot of interweaving in this song. More typical kind of classic metal lines there. And then we leave out in feedback again. I'm assuming anyway. But I guess this is a good time to talk about the lyrics. So what I've taken from the lyrics is it's about addictive behavior to negative... Ooh. That's some cool percussion. Addictive to behavior, I'm getting from it, it's addictive behavior to whether that's a person or substances or just like being stuck in a negative place, I guess, with lyrics such as... You should really know by now that this could be the end, really. Sorry, that this could end, really. So whether that's about his life on, like, drugs or wanting to stop drugs or whether that's, it could end a relationship. Seems to be that kind of duality in a lot of Deftones music. I guess now it's time to go to the smash hit of this album, Cherry Waves. Let's get underway. Like marching band percussion. Ooh, with some atmospheric. So uncertain. Again, it's like brushes on the percussion, or like a marching band snare. It's so close and claustrophobic in the production of this song, at least with the drums. But as always, there's the very chorus guitars the Deftones love. Chorus. Ooh. Wow, this is beautiful. Whoa. This like dream pop chorus is absolutely beautiful. It's like a precursor to what they did on Diamond Eyes. Oh, and that like, wow, on the guitars there. So being louder. Whoa. Oh, yeah, I see why this is a hit. It's beautiful and patient and concerned. is over my neck. Sheesh. Is this a linear groove? Oh no, it's not, because the snare is hitting the same time as the cymbal there. Wow, that reverbed out voice in there. There's so much chorusing and everything. It's dripping. So high and so pure, and then he closes it off at the end of the world. I love how it says like there. Like. This kind of sounds like the lyrics here. If you sink down beneath, I'll swim down with you. It's like, if you fall, I'll stoop to your level. Is that what you want? Yeah, it's like, can I really trust you? Don't want to sink to the same level. That's what I'm getting. Ooh. Fills? Yeah, I'm getting the rhythm back. Oh, building up. Jeez, Abe. These are not his typical fills, but they're really cool. Atmospheric synths, back into the chorus. You can hear those synths still floating above everything else. So much power in the vocals. I love that ornamentation. And then back into the screaming on that. Is that what you want? It's like really nailing it home. It's like cracking. It's a beauty into the harshness that Deftone does so well. Deftone does so well. Lower. It's like a calm down, I guess. But yeah, and because it's like felt so tired coming into this uncertain section again. Escape below. It's interesting because it's talking about like, obviously there's sort of ocean metaphors, but before I thought it was like, can I stoop to your level? Am I going to sink that low? But then it's like escaping below. Maybe them escaping below? I wonder why it's called cherry waves though. I guess there's a lot of blood metaphors in a lot of Deftones lyrics. So maybe it's like a mix between blood and the ocean, and it's like the bond of blood, I guess. Because people say like family is like a bond, but then it could also be related to death. Interesting. There's a lot of different ways you can interpret that. Oh, I really like this sort of like line here. It's like going up and then down lower. That's great. That's an amazing song. Wow. I think I've kind of talked about the lyrics as much as I needed to throughout the song, so let's go into the next song, which is Mine, but like spelt in a German way, I think. And this is the one with Serj Tankian, so I'm interested. Alright, let's get underway. Ooh. Wow. This is kind of harkening back to the earlier sound, but I really like the kind of openness of these chords. Very up-tempo. Ooh. These are some strange intervals. There's so much bass in his voice here. Usually they compress the top end and bring that out, but there's really rich, warm sound from Chino here. Wow. Ooh. So weird. It's like a pop line that he's singing there, with this like chaotic percussion and like time changes. It's an interesting juxtaposition. Such weird notes. So there's something jazzy about it. It might just be the intervals that Chino's choosing to sing and the melody's kind of structure. I'm not sure how I feel about the chorus. Just because it's such a... It is supposed to be a juxtaposition, but it's such a like a big one where this is like a pop melody, as I said before. But it just seems maybe a little ill-fitting. It might grow on me though. Ooh, I like that. Okay, this is the perfect spot to put Serj. Near the higher harmonies too. This is amazing section. Also, the drums throughout the song have been so absolutely like going and going and going. This reminds me of Maruja from a modern band. Maruja, yeah. The universe is breaking us down, and then it drops down in pitch in the reverb. I kind of get this chorus a little bit more now on like the fourth repetition, but it's still not my favorite thing on the project so far. Serj fits so well in this song, especially with the words he's singing. The universe is breaking us down. In my mind, this kind of feels like an introversion anthem. It's like scared to go outside. I've never wanted out. Slowing down. I'm really liking the kind of contrast between Serj and Chino. I actually prefer this contrast between Serj and Chino more than on Passenger from White Pony. But I feel like the Passenger is the strongest song in general. I guess it's kind of like a point of comparison because it's sort of that same sort of duet. But yeah, that was pretty good. I liked it. It was not my favorite. And I feel like that's kind of a theme throughout this project is that it's Saturday Night Wrist is a really good project, but it's not my favorite thing Deftones has done. Looking at the lyrics, this makes me seem a little bit more confident in my kind of interpretation if it's being afraid to go outside, not wanting to, like they wanted to explore, but then something's blocking them from doing so in like their mind, especially with like the lines of the universe is breaking us down. It's like, I've lost the confidence. Okay, this is going to be a hard one to pronounce. The next one we've got this is obviously a reference to the Konami code. UUDDLRLRAB select start. So it's very close to the Konami code in like up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, start, select. But it's like in weird lettering. Interesting. I'm going to have a listen now. Ooh. Ooh. That was some cool percussion though. I really enjoyed the kind of differences there. There's kind of been a rolling feeling to Abe's percussion throughout this album. It kind of reminds you of some like jazzier stuff. Ooh, on the left ear now, there's an electric piano. It's kind of like a train, the groove. I'm really liking the accents. Ooh. There's a Rhodes, I think, was washed out there. Is that a flute? I kind of imagine this is like I'm sitting on a train, lying down on my back, looking up to the stars, seeing the universe. Ooh, I like that reverb and delay there. It's on the offbeats too. Everything mingles really well in this song. I think this is going to be instrumental. Ooh. And then they resolve it with that synth there. Ga. Moving down and up again. So it's kind of repeating that sort of phrase. We got something really hard pan in the right ear there. Guitar. Sort of hypnotic. It's really interesting how clean all the instruments are, except for the drums, which are like washed out. Oh, I like that kind of anticipation there. Because the drums like highly affected with reverb and delay, and that snare especially. It just goes on into the background. Ga. It's so meditative. The filter is like closing in the high frequencies as it delays. Ooh. Yeah, it's scratching there. Is that a guitar, a piano, or a bass? I can't tell the duh. I'm really liking how everything's sort of like intermingling with the timing. It's like a big strum of all the instruments. Oh, it's like distorted echoes coming back in the bass. That was beautiful. That was just like a really beautiful instrumental track. And the next track is Xerces, I believe it's pronounced. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But yeah, let's get into this next track. Ooh. It's like just like a saw wave instead. It's interesting how this is such a significantly more electronic album. Ooh, beautiful. Once again, that sort of feeling of like a space reference. The universe surrounds to leave this earth, something very ethereal. Good bridge. Ooh. Crunch there of that note. Because the comet can take us. Oh. Such a beautiful high note. I'm sorry I'm not saying much in this chorus, but it's just such a beautiful crescendo. Piano. You know, like that very distorted guitar as well in the background in the left ear. Ooh. Ooh, I like that ornament. It's like briefly going to a dissonant mode into this chorus, which is my favorite chorus, apart from Cherry Wave so far in this album. I guess this is just like when I die or when I go, what's left? Will I be remembered? That's what I'm feeling like to the song so far. It also could be like leaving a partner and just like seeing what's left, like reflecting back. Those are two interpretations. And then just like this repeat, this goodbye, I'll be waving. It really is like a what's left. It is really, ooh. Good. He loves doing that whisper, and I like it when he does that. These are some really complex lyrics, because once again, it's talking about the space theme, but it's like, what it reminds you of like is like the we're all small in the comparison to the universe sort of feeling, and like waving goodbye. I guess that's like when I die, will I be remembered? It could be like talking about heaven, because it's like to leave this earth, and it talks about goodbye, safe heaven. That's interesting. I'll be waving goodbye, safe heaven, new world. It's like what I've got left, like dying, and then what I've got left, is that enough to be remembered? Maybe? Wow, I'm not going to try and dig into it more, because I feel like it's supposed to be kind of shrouded a little, and I think that's just really good lyric writing. And we're going to go into the next song, which is Rats, Rats, Rats. And the first thing I think of that is Germa, so we'll see what the actual song is. Ooh, that's like a washed out guitar tone. Oh, and then we're going to the stereo kind of feel. Emphasis on the stop. There is. Oh, that's synth rising. Ooh. So much animosity here, but it's like a sadness as well. It's like, oh. Ooh. Ooh, the rhythms here. Wow, the rhythmic displacement I'm getting from this is really interesting. What is that noise in the background? Like that. And it looks like these alien synths almost. I'm feeling a halftime feel here, but I know it's not. Whoa, you really hear that breathe. Wow, they're using such strange, like, rhythmic elements here. Wow! Jesus Christ! Yeah, everything is fine, definitely from that screen. It's just such a weird juxtaposition here. They're using such interesting rhythmic elements, I just can't place the timing. Wow. It's like bubbling up under there. Jesus. Is it like a baby? I can't tell in the left ear. Ooh. It's like a breakdown here. 0, 0, 0 on the tabs. Ooh. I feel like a tribal feeling on the drums. Building. Synth. Rising in pitch. Ooh. Those fills. They're really recontextualizing the timing. Jesus! Back into that screaming of everything's just fine. Almost reminds me of a Dalek. Ooh, it's like everything's collapsing here with these dissonance. Oh, the breathing. Whew. Wow, that was an absolutely furious track. There's not really much I can delve into the lyrics about here. It seems to be very, very much about, like, a breakup. It's like, it's not his fault and they've done something to ruin the relationship. I'm assuming probably cheating. Wow, there's so much ferocity. And I can assume it's just like a fight that led from like probably a cheating and a romance, because it seems to be talking to their partner, I guess ex-partner. And now on to the famous song, the infamous song, should I say, Pink's Cellphone. I've been told that this song has some very questionable lyrics. So let's have a listen. What is this?
Belief in the one true power.
This feels like a Nine Inch Nails B-side. Or like a jockstrap song so far.
Belief in the one
It's just so different to anything else in this album. So weird. It's like a Nine Inch Nails B-side with Chino on it. What is that? Okay, so far I'm liking it. It's just some weird choices. Okay, that was cool with the guitars there. Or synth. I can't tell if it's either. It's not... It doesn't... It's... Okay. So far, it's a cool song, but it really doesn't fit with the rest of the album. It sort of reminds me of... Lucky You, but like a little bit more like dancey. It's like a dance track, really. What is that like? In the background. Oh god, I'm looking at the lyrics ahead a little bit and I see why this is. Oh my god, what the hell?
So your troubles continue to multiply and to grow as a direct result of your being misguided, in which you follow the gospel truth.
That's a cool way of bringing it back into like a more fulsome, like chorusy section. Production is cool, it's just not like a Deftones song.
The wrong ideals and goals that lead you into sickness unto enough.
This is just,
And from
this section is not great. Ignoring the strange lyrics that come up later, this is just like, it feels very amateurish. Yeah, this section is so...
Amen.
It's so, like, amateurish. It just feels like someone got, like, a type beat for $2 and then just started saying stuff over it.
Greasy, filthy hand jobs.
Yeah, okay, here is the section.
Restrooms. Hot calling. I turned that into a verb.
Oh my god, this is so cringy.
Hope you appreciate it. Carling. Hot Carling Academy.
What?
It's a school where you go to learn how to butt fuck.
Jesus Christ.
They don't have blowjobs there. because they're uncircumcised.
What the
And
heck?
that is just disgusting.
Usually when Deftones talks about sex, they do it with more tact.
With extra foreskin, trap all the germs
Bro.
and the poop and the butt fucking residue. And that is why British people have bad teeth. Amen.
What the hell? Okay. That song's just a piss take. What can I say? Oh no, oh no, oh no. As I said before, usually when Deftones talks about sex, they do it with more tact. That was not very tactful. And not just about tact. This is kind of gross. Come on, man. Alright, let's see if we get back in the flow of things with the song Combat. It's like a found sound sample of like a crowd. It's just like reversed. Someone speaking. And then like a physical modeled feeling kind of timbre. I'm interested to see where this builds. Dissonance here. I mean, it's an interesting intro, but I want to see where it builds to. Some feedback. Kind of like I guess like an ambient piece so far. Whoa. It's very dry guitar tone. Okay, the transition to this section could have been done a little bit better. It just seemed very abrupt. But I'm enjoying this section. Wow, they're like quick plucking the string there. Ooh, that note. There's a lot of cymbals in this project, and like the ride, like hitting the bell. Ooh. They're really distorting Chino's voice in this album. Wow. It's very early Deftones, and I really like I always forget the name for that, but it's like at the end of Earth Mover, by Have a Nice Life. Like static in the background here. Ooh, the build up. It's like a call and response. Oh, back to that fast picking section. I always get entranced by that kind of thing. It's like multiple rhythms happening at once with like the speed and then the slow. Open chords into like more closed in ones. It's interesting how they're playing with the stereo field in this. Like the first few chords of the chorus are like super wide and then it gets dry and in the center. Damn. I feel like this could go a little bit harder, but I think it still could. You can hear like frazzling in the top there. There was one note that was a little bit dissonant there, and then it sounds like someone putting down their guitar. Damn, I did enjoy that song. I feel like there was a few things there that I feel like could be improved though in just like cohesiveness. Especially the intro feels like that should have been maybe an interlude and then have Combat as the song from the section there and have it transition from the interlude into that. And the lyrics, I feel like they're just kind of the same extension of the breakup theme that we're talking about. And it's just like, who can I trust when you're defending which person, I guess? That's kind of the extent of what I can interpret from it, at least, because it's kind of just like, you know, whose side are you on, whose side are you on? And a waste of time if you don't believe. It's like, who you're trusting here. And now let's go into the next song, which is Kimdracula. Ooh, very dry guitar, and I bet it's going to go into a wide section in a second. Wow. They pushed Chino's voice really loud in the mix in this album. That's like a sickening effect in the voice there, in a good way. It's a cool effect. It's like underwater. I've really always loved Chino's like choices in harmony and melody. It's a cool riff. Da 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 da. Kind of poppy, this album, in that way that it's like easy to follow along with the chords, but they're really playing around with the rhythm here. Like a lot of their albums are experimentation with dissonance and rhythm, but this is really an experimentation with rhythm. Ooh, that's a nice riff. Playing around with the distance again. Oh, into that dry section again. It's like an alt rock track. That's kind of Abe Cunningham's signature there. Ga 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 ga. Really accentuating the offbeat in the build-up. And back into the chorus. And just leaves off at that. Interesting. Also, I apologize for my voice now. It's kind of wearing out a bit. I just recovered from COVID like a week ago. So yeah, if you can hear me kind of like up a little bit, that's why. Interesting. I mean, the lyrics in the song are pretty, at least to me, they're self-explanatory because we're kind of going on the concept. A lot of Deftones' album are kind of like about partnerships, and this seems to be a continuation of the breakup, but it's like the pain of going back because it's like, really wish the snakes were your arms, where it's like he's got snakes, you know, holding him, I guess. And it's like, I wish that they were your arms, so it's like, I wish you were back with you. I wish you'd make up your mind. It's kind of just like, I guess, touching back on that, like, cheating aspect, but it's like, even though that happened, I kind of want you back. There's not really many more lyrics than that, so it's kind of all I can glean from it, but feel free to correct me in the comments. Now, let's get on to the last song of this project, which is, I believe, Rivière, final track. Let's hope it's a good closer. Ooh. I feel like this is going to be more introspective and personal. So far, it's a really beautiful cool down. I can imagine him sitting down in black and white film on a porch with just a guitar plugged in. That feels like a reference to like the earlier stuff where they often had like a bent note. Synth strings coming in. It's interesting how they're panned to the left and very washed out. But they're not fully left panned. Oh no, I really hope this doesn't build into like a bombastic chorus because I'm enjoying the kind of slow down section that is here. But I can be convinced. Yeah, that's what you should have done. Yeah, that's the way to do it. It's interesting how they're really using the center image here, where instead of having, you know, wide guitar, and then bass down the middle, to have it feel like a one massive instrument. It's interesting how they, instead, using different like angles of the stereo spectrum. Because before we got left, and then we got right, and now we're getting left again. That synth kind of seems like the wind rolling through. Clashing notes. It's good that they telegraph that with like everything fading on. Otherwise I would have complained it's like a little bit too much of a like smacking with how low key the rest of the song was. They really did that well, I think. It's a tactful way of ending. Talk about tact a lot this time. The offbeat fills. I think it'd be really cool if this like dissipates near the end of the song, but I'm really enjoying this section. Yes, that's what I wanted. I think this is so far if this continues like this, or maybe if it builds back into a chorus, it's like a snap. Either way, I will enjoy how it ends. But I think this is like the perfect way they could have closed it. Feel like more. That's got to be a reference, because it's the same note being bent. Oh, I'm really liking these chords. As I said, sitting on a porch, taking it in black and white on a rocking chair. That's the image I have in my mind. That's the perfect closer. And that was Saturday Night Wrist. And I enjoyed it. It's not my favorite Deftones project. I think it's actually probably my least favorite Deftones project I've heard so far, but that doesn't mean it's bad. Overall, I think I would rate this album a 79 out of 100. That's what I'm feeling right now. And for the lyrics of this song, this one I actually checked the Genius page, and it says that Chino wrote this song as a story about a witch he wrote. And I feel like that's going to be talking back about the concept earlier in the album about the breakup or the failing marriage at this time, where it's just like, she haunts the roads, it's a classic folklore thing. This song's lyrics are kind of like smattered with the feeling of metaphor, I kind of feel like my main complaints about this album, you can tell that they were kind of struggling with the writing process on this album, because there are some sections that just seem like out of desperation or like trying as hard as they can to get something on the paper. Like with Pink Cellphone and some of the awkward or amateurish sections, but that doesn't detract too much. And the other complaint I have is I feel like it could have been more cohesive as a project, but that's basically it. So I really enjoy this project. So thank you all for watching. Don't forget to check out my album, and also, I guess, subscribe, like, whatever, if you like the video. No pressure. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I promise that the next video will come out in less time. Thank you. Bye.